Hello, welcome to Rose and Coffee, the Derby. It's Territory Wednesday. We should do it on a Tuesday just because the name will be better. It's Territory Tuesday, but it's Wednesday, so it's Territory Wednesday. We've done some bowling with Florida, didn't we? Like old Florida, and then you pick Stampede.
Yeah.
Because we pick shit ones, but you know, Stampede's always been a huge promotion.
Yeah.
Egypt wasn't really a territory, but it was cool to watch. And then last week was good with Portland. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one, yeah.
This week I've chosen USWA, but I've said between the years of 91 and 97, basically because like it started in 89, end of 89, but 90 on the Memphis end, they showed Dallas TV. And I want to kind of save Dallas for its own little thing. Founders were Jerry Jarrett and Fritz Von Erich, when kind of like Jerry took his stuff to Dallas, you know, and kind of brought it into world class.
Right, yeah.
They were the owners, Jerry, Kevin Von Erich, and Jerry Lawler in 97 when he bought it outright. The Von Erich family only owned it till 1990, though, when they kind of pulled out over some kind of dispute. Wikipedia says it was in an attempt to make a third major promotion against WWF and the NWA. Which kind of makes, because with Fritz and Jerry Jarrett, that's like two major markets joining as one, isn't it? You know, Memphis and Dallas joining together, that's pretty huge. The world class end withdrew in September of 90 due to money problems. And then Texas became Global Wrestling Federation then when Joe Pedicino got involved. In 92, they had a WWF talent exchange, which lasted sort of 18 months, 2 years or whatever. During that period, USWA champions from the WWF included, and this is pretty big for a fucking, what in essence is a small, you know, rinky-dink Memphis promotion. But they had Ahmed Johnson, Razor Ramon, Jeff Jarrett, Coco Beware, Papa Shango, Owen Hart, Tatanka, and Macho Man, all as their champion. So that's pretty fucking big, isn't it?
Yeah.
Struggled with the Monday Night Wars and the Memphis Mid-South Coliseum shows declined. They went down to as low as 372 at the Big One Flea Market in Memphis, which, you know, isn't really a great deal. Lawler being in the WWF didn't help, I suppose, because the main draw would have been there on a fucking Monday night for Raw rather than at the Mid-South Coliseum where their show was. Lawler bought it in 97 and then immediately sold it to a company called XL Sports for like fucking ludicrous money. And then this XL Sports sued him over like bullshitting about how much it made. How it went, I don't know. I don't know what the result was, but to me, it's always been like my second favorite promotion ever. Smoky Mountain is my favorite, and USWA under it, because like, you know, I love that Southern wrestling. I love that shit. You know, I love the fact that it's all story. Everything's fucking story in the USWA.
Yeah.
Like there's loads of other Memphises we can do. Fucking CWA and Memphis before that, and then, you know, after the USWA, which is Power Pro Wrestling. And after that, when it was Corey Macklin's promotion, and then the WWF developmental after that, you know, so there's shitload of Memphis we can do, but this is just like that period. What year did you say you do? 94?
94, yeah.
Was there people that you knew from WWF on that?
There was people that, yeah, there was, but they're like Memphis people, so I knew them even if they weren't in the WWF, if you know what I mean. I knew them as Memphis wrestlers more than WWF wrestlers.
Right.
But there was also people on there I ain't got a foggy who they are. So I'll fucking bring them up. I'll mention them to you, and you'll be like, I fucking know it, but I ain't got a fucking clue.
The one I did from 93 was like right at the height of the WWF sort of change thing. So there was some fucking big names on, well, you know, and they're mentioning other people and, you know, fucking cracking. Shall I go first? Because mine's the year before yours.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, USWA basically on Saturday TV was like hour and a half on a Saturday morning, like 10:30 in the morning or whatever the fuck. And it was like it was an hour and a half of an advert for fucking the show on Monday at the Mid-South Coliseum. That's how it seemed. And I think it's fucking brilliant. It's a great way of doing things. Everything goes towards a sale for a ticket at the Mid-South Coliseum. Do you know what I mean? That's every fucking thing that's mentioned is a plug. And I love that, to be fair. You know, it's proper regional. It starts with Dave Brown and Corey Macklin. Dave Brown was a Memphis weatherman who did the wrestling commentary. So it was like, you know, somebody that was seen locally on TV a lot.
Yeah.
Corey Macklin later owned Memphis Wrestling. But it starts in he's saying, like, you know, the Moondogs are here today. Tatanka, Tommy Rich, and Jeff Jarrett. So already we're fucking, you know, big names on the show. And then they go to a promo, and it's Vince McMahon doing the promo, and he's got the USWA belt on. How cool is that? Because Tatanka last Monday, Tatanka beat Lawler for the title, and he's saying back to Vince McMahon, you know, like because WWF is better than USWA, and that's like the first heel Vince McMahon that wrestling's ever seen. You know, before he was Mr. McMahon with his funny walk, he's fucking heel fucking WWF owner. This is '93, so years before, you know, the old Steve Austin fucking all that bullshit. You know, and he's saying that Lawler's got one last shot at a rematch this Monday. Then there's highlights from Monday's Mid-South Coliseum show when a team called the Dog Catchers beat the Moondogs with the help of their manager Paul Neighbours for the Tag Team Championship. I looked up the Dog Catchers. They were Doug Vine and Jeff Sword, who I'd only seen before WCW sort of enhancement and Poffo shows, you know, like a few years before that. Match one is the Moondogs versus the Intruders, two dudes in black masks, could be any fucker, and it's just a mugging. They just fucking batter these dudes in and out of the ring, fucking chairs, and the manager Richard Lee's got a chair and fucking throwing people through tables, and the referee Frank Morale doesn't count them, don't disqualify them, fuck all. Don't matter, it's the Moondogs, you know what I mean? It's a gut wrench suplex and a top rope splash. Moondogs win, just a fucking mugging. And then the attack carries on after the bow, like, and they're saying it's a message for the dog catchers. The dog catchers look right cool, to be fair, like fucking like police outfits, but you know, like dog handlers kind of gimmick.
Yeah.
Next up is highlights from Tommy Rich versus Jeff Jarrett from Monday show, Mid-South show. There's a ref bump, and then fucking Rich with the brass knucks fucking swings at Jeff Jarrett, fucking proper nails him. Sorry, he swings at Jeff Jarrett. Jeff blocks it, gets the knucks, fucking boshes Rich, pins Rich. He's now the USWA heavyweight champion, which confused me a little bit because I thought Tatanka was the USWA heavyweight champion. But it turns out Tatanka's the USWA Unified World Champion, and Tommy Rich is just the USWA Heavyweight Champion. I don't know. Then Paul Neighbours comes in, tells the ref about the knucks, restarts the match. Fucking Tommy Rich with the knucks, bosh. Tommy Rich is won. So he's the USWA Heavyweight Champion. Then there's a promo with Tommy Rich, who's got the best fucking voice ever. Like the best. I could listen to Tommy Rich talk all day. It's fucking amazing, his voice. I love it. Everything he says, you believe. He's talking about Jeff Jarrett's family, you know, saying fucking his granddad Eddie Marlin is just a promoter, and he was, you know, he was fuck all without Tojo Yamamoto. Jerry Jarrett, his dad, was fucking, you know, fucking has been, blah blah blah. Even his mom, Miss Christine. Like, you can tell there's respect in his voice because it's Miss Christine rather than, you know, Christine Jarrett. You know, just knocking the family. Then Jeff Jarrett comes out all fucking raging, but all the other baby faces are holding him back, saying it's not a good time, blah, blah, blah. Then Rich goes to the ring and wrestles a dude called Bill Vick. Never seen him before, but he's just like, you know, local boy. And Rich is still mouthing off, proper fucking heel, like all the way mouthing off. And he says, I'll make this a title match. right here on TV, make it a title match against this fucking Jamoke. Beats him with a pile driver in the end. To be fair, I thought I can't knock Tommy Rich, right? One of the greatest in the world ever. But I thought with him making it a title match, there'll be at least one thing that Bill Vick did that could have got him over.
Yeah.
Just a fucking sunset, fucking glimmer of hope. But no. But hey, it's Tommy Rich now, and I totally get they're getting over Jeff Jarrett against Tommy Rich, not Bill Vick. Jeff Jarrett's back out again. All the fucking boys are pushing him back. Then it's Tatanka versus Lawler highlights from Monday. Fucking chops, and then fucking Lawler fires up like Hogan, brings the strap down, which fucking gets a pop every time. He's bumping the fuck out of Tatanka. DDT, out comes Paul Neighbours again. Paul Neighbours, see, I never really knew he was a manager. I've only ever seen him as a referee. But he distracts the referee, and then there's fucking a kick from Tatanka, and he pile drivers Lawler, and he beat him with his own move. That's the insult to injury is Tatanka beat him with like his own move. Then there's a Tatanka promo in the WWF. At this point, he was undefeated. Tatanka, they keep putting that over, and I think Tatanka here is a little bit sort of stiff. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not relaxed enough. But yeah, Tatanka comes out for the promo at the little table. I fucking love it when they have the interviews at the table. It's so cool. He hasn't got the belt though, so I'm thinking, he's giving it to Vince, any, because we saw Vince earlier with the belt, right?
Yeah.
But he's saying that he hates Memphis and fucking everyone's stupid and yada yada. He's the real king, the WWF people are the real king, and then he lists these people. He says like Macho Man, he's a real king. Mr. Perfect, he's a real king. And then he goes, Aligante, he's a real king. Fucking WWF people, Aligante. Fucking Aligante was the WCW dude.
Yeah.
Gonzalez, which fucking popped me. Then Lawler comes out anyway. And now the camera's on Lawler. He's walking around the ring. By the time he gets to the table, Tonka's got the belt on. So it's like somebody passed him the belt, like, shit, you forgot this, Chris. Bosh, that's on. And then Jerry Lawler says, Tatanka's great, he's the champion, he's got to be fucking brilliant. He puts him over well, and then he plugs the Survivor Series pay-per-view on the WWF that's coming up. And then Lawler suggested this Monday they have their own version of the Survivor Series with Tatanka, the Dog Catchers, and Tommy Rich, which are all the champions from the USWA. The unified champion Tatanka, the tag champions, the Dog Catchers, and the heavyweight champion Tommy Rich, against Lawler, who lost to Tatanka, the Moondogs that lost to the Dog Catchers, and Jeff that lost to Rich, who Lawler himself says, we'll call them Lawler's losers. And Tatanka's like, at least you got the right name, blah, blah, blah. But the G is that on Monday, if the Dog Catchers, if the Moondogs beat the Dog Catchers, they get the titles. If Jeff beats Rich, they get the title. Lawler beats Tatanka. So that's quite a cool setup to quite a cool match, isn't it? So that's the stipulation there for Monday. All belts are on the line in this Survivor Series thing. Rich then comes out to talk to Tatanka, and he's saying, that Lawler's as stupid as the crowd. It's such a good promo. Is Tom Rich, fucking just natural talker. Then there's a Jeff Jarrett music video, and then Jeff's on with a guy called Dave Golden. Rich is now fucking coming out to the ring, but all the heels hold him back like the baby faces did to Jeff.
Yeah.
This Golden dude looks like the world's tallest dwarf. He's got like little arms and he's about fucking 3 foot. DDT finish, job's a good one. Rich out again, then fucking nails Jeff. Jeff ducks the fucking line, and then the Dog Catchers come in. So it's all fucking, all leading up to this big tag. Then fucking literally every man and his dog comes in the ring, and it's like a fucking battle royal then. And then the Dog Catchers and Tommy Rich bolt once the Moondogs come in, because they've got bins and shit. Eddie Marlin, the promoter, comes out then and says, I agree to the Survivor Series match for Monday. They announced the Monday's card in full. And then there's a promo with the whole babyface team, Lawler, Jarrett, and the Moondogs. Then there's possibly the world's worst promo I've ever seen. It was like a fucking episode of Jerry Springer. It's Tony Adams, who's Chris Adams' missus, saying that her man, the Phantom of the Opera, will be wrestling Brian Christopher and some other dude on Monday. And then the other girl comes out, and it's all very fucking catfighty. It's fucking Jerry Springer. But she keeps calling the Phantom Chris. Chris will be out, and I'm like, but apparently Brian Christopher had beaten Chris Adams in a loser leaves town thing. So obviously he's come back in the mask, and it's like just teasing because she keeps saying, "No, I don't mean Chris," you know. So it's a shocking promo, but I get the point. Then it's Tatanka versus this big dude called Freezer Thompson. Tatanka has forgotten the bout again. Jump start. This Freezer's a fucking big man. Out of the ring, chops the fuck out of him. Then that Samoan drop finish. Jeff Jarrett talks about some sort of show on Thursday up the road, and then Lawler comes out very quickly talking about a softball competition tomorrow. They give you the address for the TV tickets. And Dave Brown says it's the only live wrestling show in the world. You know, only live TV wrestling show in the world. I don't know when Raw started, but that was alternate weeks. That was live, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So Corey then talks about this week's USWA tour, which is pretty cool because they're everywhere. Tatanka, Rich, and the Dog Catchers promo again because they're all fucking everything's a plug, isn't it? And Tatanka tells Rich and the Dog Catchers that he's taking them to the WWF, making you a fucking star. Stick a rocket on your ass. Once again, there's Monday's card listed. They said they haven't got time for this week's 8-person tag team main event, which I could believe because some of these promos went on forever, and that fucking Jerry Springer thing was just an abortion that went on for fucking way longer than it should have. So I can understand why the tag main event was knocked on the head. But there was people coming out for the breaker parts and things like Jeff Gaylord and the Spellbinder and shit were there, but didn't wrestle. So I'm assuming they would have been in the tag, but they just fucked it off. But I love it. I do. I love the stories and how in depth and how personal they get and how believable it is because they're right there to talk about it. It's not like they have to force a promo because they just go to the desk and talk about it. It's brilliant. Yeah, that was my USWA. Bummed it.
Yeah, sorry.
Bummed it. I love it. I do. USWA is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, I
can go to any period of the USWA and bang it on and fucking enjoy every episode.
Yeah, well, the episode I watched, I was gonna say that like at the end of it, but because you brought it up now, I'll mention it now. Basically, like I don't really watch that much. I don't really watch that much of it, but like I've seen bits here and there. You know what I mean? Obviously, not as familiar as you. So like, but it was like an hour episode or whatever it was. I watched things like 58 minutes, and I felt like it explained like it was very very story driven, like you're on about. But like I felt like I'd been watching it for longer than just that episode because like I felt like I knew what was going on. It wasn't like I was like, okay, what the fuck is happening, kind of thing. You know what I mean? They don't, even though it was just like one episode, they done well to explain
on the whole thing. It's like one of these weekly dramas on TV. They at the start, it's like last week on fucking whatever the fuck. They fill you in on everything that's going on. They tell you what's going on last week. They tell you what's going on next week.
Yeah.
Then the promo, they're so good at talking, other than fucking Tony Adams in that shit. But I mean, everyone else is so good at talking, but they know how to sell tickets, and that's exactly what they're doing. They just want people in on Monday, and that's so they have to talk you into the building. Normally, like now, I couldn't watch that much of a wrestling show and have that little wrestling. But then the talking was so fucking good that it was as entertaining, if not more so, than the wrestling itself.
Yeah. No, I was quite like really into it in that. And it's not like the fucking matches were necessarily like massive matches, but it felt like they were building to certain things. You know what I mean? There was like
and that's their mentality as well, is why would they give away a match for free?
Yeah.
when you need to buy a ticket for Monday to see the good matches. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like fucking, and when they did do a fucking big match on TV, it was hyped to fuck. You know, this week we're gonna have a world championship match. You know, and every fucker was like, "Fuck." Same as when the WWF did, wasn't it? Like Hogan didn't wrestle on Superstars often.
No.
You know, when it did, it meant something, didn't it?
Yeah, I remember as a kid watching Superstars. I don't think I ever remember seeing Hogan. Like it was always, it wasn't. They always had the upper mid guys in the main, like like the Nasty Boys, for instance, or something like that would be the fucking, it'd be all squash matches, wouldn't it? Then they're like, oh,
Yeah.
next week it'll fucking be this match, like, But yeah, I remember seeing Hogan to be honest on Superstars. But
You had to buy the pay per view to see Hogan.
well, that was it, isn't it? Yeah.
That's the thing. I think that's to a degree has lost the star power of some of the wrestlers today because they're seen every week. They're almost overseen, aren't they?
Yeah, and the matches as well, because the matches are fucking like literally like
everyone's a main event, isn't it?
The what? Sorry.
Every match is a main event. Every match is pay per view quality.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's beating Jim Powers. You know, fucking when before you'd have a Barry Horowitz to beat, and yeah, fucking Barry gave you some shit, like, but he's no Andre the Giant. You know, there's no build. And Memphis was all about the build, but they did that every fucking week. That build, that Memphis Mid South was run for 30 odd years, every Monday.
Right.
Mad, isn't it?
That is.
What won in '94?
94. Hang on then. I can get to the beginning. It was from 16th of July 94. The show starts off with like a fucking angle in the ring where Sid Vicious jumps Jerry Lawler. So Lawler's in there. It just cuts straight to the fucking. But I think Lawler might be doing a promo or something or a match. I can't remember what was happening, but Sid gets involved anyway and fucking fucks Lawler up with a power bomb or whatever, or choke slam, I think it was. Sorry, and yeah, so that kind of started the show. Then it shows bits of a match between Lawler and Tommy Rich in a barbed wire match, like prior, where Mickey Paul. No, I ain't got a fucking clue. I thought you might know, but Mickey Paul.
You lost me on that one.
Mickey Paul comes down and fuck it. But that's what I was saying earlier about how they explain the situation, because I didn't know who the fuck he was, but they filled me in exactly who he was. So what happened was Mickey Paul comes to the ring, cuts some barbed wire out the ring and throws in like a fucking piece of cloth to Rich that's like covered in some sort of fucking liquid that's gonna fuck up Lawler, and he ends up beating Lawler. Rich does for the 3, and by using that fucking like the cloth, whatever it's fucking was covered in or whatever. Anyway, after the match, after they show that, they go into a Rich promo after that match, and now Rich is talking, and he's talking about that Mickey Paul, and he's saying that fucking and his promos though, like you were saying, they're fucking brilliant. Like literally, he was explaining it. He was explaining everything like as a heel, but almost got me fucking siding with him because he was convincing. Like, you know what I mean? Like when
you're like, poor Tommy.
Because when he was talking about fucking that Mickey Paul, he was explaining what happened was Mickey Paul had he was the manager of Jerry Lawler for a small period of time, apparently. And this is the gist of the situation. Recently, they had a match where it was Jerry Lawler against someone in a hair match, hair versus hair. But it wasn't Lawler's hair on the line. It was Mickey Paul's. And he was Lawler's manager. And he ended up losing the match, getting his hair cut. And I think that's why fucking Mickey Paul kind of turned against Lawler or something. That was how Tommy Rich explained it to me, and he was quite convincing. I'm sure he was telling the truth, to be fair. And they did go to
I believe what he said.
they did go to a clip of that match with the fucking hair versus hair thing, and it's got fucking Lawler stood in the corner, like, you know, well, that's, you know, basically not fucking trying to prevent him getting his hair cut kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of where the whole Mickey Paul thing came in from. And then oh yeah, then Rich goes to the ring. Like, this is after the clip, so this is like live now. He goes to the ring and challenges Lawler to a match. Fucking Lawler comes down, and then Sid attacks him again. Because obviously prior, Sid attacked him on a previous show, but he's attacking him now and then because he's meant to have a match. There's meant to be a title match tonight with Lawler against Sid for the fucking unified title, whatever it is. So Sid comes down, fucks up Lawler. Lawler's fucking dead. Sid leaves, whatever. That's that. So like, there's more of this story as the fucking show goes on. But for now, Lawler's fucked up. So anyway, the first match, fucking about half an hour into the show, we get to the first match, and it's fucking Leon Downs. Against Wolfie D. There we go.
I know Wolfie D. There we go. It was his birthday yesterday.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
There we go.
Happy birthday, Warren Wolf.
So Leon Downs against Wolfie D. Right, so the exchange holds, fucking armbar by Wolfie D. Downs, armbar by Wolfie D. Fucking got him into the corner. Downs, he whips Wolfie D into the corner. Wolfie D does like an up and over. Fucking Downs turns around, runs at him with a line. Wolfie D ducks, hits him with a drop kick, pop. Fucking boom. That was like the opening little spot there. Fucking it hits him with a couple of drop kicks actually, and then another arm drag, and then an arm bar, and like just working on the arm now. Wolfie D is. At some point, Downs takes over. He don't get too much in this Downs guy. I don't know fucking who he is, to be fair. And then basically, fucking Downs takes over just a tiny little bit, runs into the corner. Wolfie avoids it. Fucking bump and feeds him a couple of times, hits a slam, fucking elbow drop, boom. And then right at the finish, he whips. Downs switches the whip. So this is like all like the big comeback, really. And it's all fucking, it wasn't really a comeback because he didn't do fuck all that much. But Downs switches the whip, ducks his head for the backdrop, and fucking Wolfie D hits the DDT. Boom, 1, 2, 3. Simple match, enjoyable match. But like, that Downs didn't really do fuck all, even though there was a big comeback at the end, but it was only a little. But yeah, I don't know who that Downs guy is.
He did what he had to do, I suppose, didn't he?
Well, yeah, but no, it was all right. The crowd were into it and that. And I also wrote during this match that fucking, I love, like, we talked about it loads of times, like the whole studio setup. It's fucking brilliant. Like, because I mean, how many were there? Fucking not many at all, is there? In that fucking.
So it's going to be fucking 50 at tops, isn't it? 40 odd.
Fucking love it. I do. I love studio shows. They're just fucking. There's something.
It's the table I love. You know what I mean? Like, there's no, going to another place for an interview or fucking any of that shit. They're right there. It's there. It's like having wrestling in your living room.
Yeah, I know what you mean. No, I do enjoy that as well.
You feel like you're part of the show because it's right there. It's fucking, it's in your face.
Yeah. That's where all the fucking like chatting's going on and stuff, and everyone's there. It's it's pretty cool, to be fair. Right. So what we got now? Yeah. So so he beat him with the DDT. Then there's a promo by Wolfie D, and then Mr. B Fine interrupts.
Yes, Robbie B Fine.
That's the fucker. Him.
Reggie B Fine.
Reggie, yeah, that's it. Reggie B Fine. Yeah. He comes out, and I actually Googled him because I don't know who it was. I didn't know if it was someone else that I knew of, but I didn't recognize any names he's gone by, so I didn't know him. But yeah, so he comes out, interrupts. He starts talking about the eliminators and stuff because apparently he's like their manager and that. Then there's a big fiasco, a bit of a scrap going on. Then the Eliminators come out, and then the Faces come out to help, and then it kind of goes off, like, from there. Anyway, this is a bit of a fucking not confusing. I actually quite like this, but I can understand people might be a little bit pissed off if you're watching it and you're like, that's a bit of a fucking letdown, because they were at the start of the show they were promoting Sid against Lawler for the unified title. Obviously Sid fucked them up earlier on. Now Sid comes out. Now you might think, that's odd, but like Sid comes out to the fucking table that we're on about, and he's like, look, he's like, if Lawler ain't able to compete tonight, then you need to fucking forfeit the belt, because technically he's fucking unable to compete. I should be the fucking winner, blah blah whatever. Anyway, they fucking come out, referee's there, fucking officials are there, having a little fucking guan in, see what's happening. And then, like, the ref's like, yeah, he's actually right. Like, so they end up fucking giving Sid the title, like raising his hand saying, yeah, he's the winner by forfeit. And the funny thing is, that kind of thing happens quite often, but it never works out in the heel's favor, because the face will always be like, he'll come and make a fucking like heroic fucking challenge or whatever, limp into the ring or whatever the case is. But this case, Lawler was just nowhere to be seen. Literally, he fucked him up earlier, and he raised his hand, and he's the fucking champion. It literally is as simple as that. I kept expecting like the officials to be like, nah, mate, that ain't happening. Like, you know what I mean? But literally, Sid's like, look, raise my hand, crown me the champion, and away we go on. That's exactly what happened. They raised his hand.
Okay.
That was it. They're like, actually, Sid, you make a good point. We'll go with that. So, so yeah, that's what happened. So I was like, I guess if you were there wanting to see that fucking match, you might be a little bit like, what the fuck? But watching it from where I'm sat, I kind of fucking understood. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I do understand if you can't compete, then, that's it, isn't it? So
on the plus side, they know that Lawler's not going to be off the fucking out of the ring for long. They're going to pay to see that fucker on Monday, aren't they?
Yeah.
If they can't see it today, they'll see it Monday. Because a pound to a bucket of shit 2 days later, he was at the Mid-South Coliseum. All bandaged up and fucking walking to the ring with fucking crutches.
Yeah. No, I quite enjoyed it, to be fair. I thought that was right. Right. So anyway, we'll move on to finally come on to match number 2, which is the Spellbinder versus... Who was the Spellbinder?
Oh, the Spellbinder was Dell something.
Well, they announced it.
He was Fantasia or something in the WWF for like one day.
All right.
He was like a legit magician.
He
was called Shock as well later on. He did TNA stuff. I think it was on the first TNA show, the Battle Royal Rumble one.
All right. Well, they announced him as the new Spellbinder, so I don't know if it was a different gimmick, if it was a different guy, or if it was just the one. Right. But they actually announced him as the new Spellbinder. But he looked all right, actually. He looked in like,
he was always in like a black outfit and a white face paint and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
But he always looked good, like fucking in shape and worked well. I think the WWF just didn't like the gimmick. I don't think it was him.
Right. But yeah.
It was the gimmick they gave him, so it's a bit fucking bullshit, really. But he did set fire to the fucking building though for the WWF, didn't he?
You know what?
On Bruce Pritchard's podcast, he talks about it.
Right.
And he did magic on the way to the ring on his WWF TV.
And
they, some sort of fireworks shit coming out his arm, or some kind of fire at the end, and he set fire to something, or something fucking went tits up anyway. So I don't think that helped him keep his job there.
Right.
But as a wrestler, I always thought he was class.
Yeah. All right. Well, he's on anyway against Eddie Gibbons.
No.
Nah, and I didn't even have a fucking chance to even try to see who this Eddie Gibbons was, because it was over before I fucking knew it. It was a squash. He beat the fuck out of him and pinned him. It's as simple as that. They weren't even fucking most squashes, the guy getting squashed might have one or two fucking blows in there, but now nothing. Just got the absolute shit kicked out of him, and then that was it. 1, 2, 3, done the JOB. So that's nothing to say about that one, really. It was just a fucking squash in about a minute. And then there's a promo. You are.
We've all been there.
So then there's a promo with Mr. B Fine again and the Eliminators and Spellbinder. I think there's like some sort of faction group thing going on, but they're all there just talking shit, basically saying that, you know, they're the fucking, you know, the men and whatnot. Anyway, we'll move on to match 3, which is Tony Falk.
Oh, fabulous. Tony Falk, amazing. Yeah.
Him against Brian Christopher.
Tony Falk has been around wrestling for forever, probably since the late 70s.
Right.
And him, he used to wrestle as, you know, he's had several names like Cowboy Tony, Boy Tony when he had like a pink outfit on, a bit like Boy George. And then he did one called Two Folk for Sure, where he was like an old man rapper kind of gimmick.
Right.
And we had a picture, me and Mad Dog had a picture printed out of Tony Falk as Two Folk for Sure, and we put him in the you know, sun visor thing in the car or the van or whatever it was, and he lived there all the time that we did the camps, and he was the man that guided our way. That's what we said. The Two Folk for Sure guided our way. He was a referee in Dallas too, and refereed for and wrestled for Fritz. But fucking legendary. His son's a wrestler now, out he?
All right. Well, yeah, they kept calling him like Legend Tony Falk. Like they kept like, you know, that's what
Never
they were.
won a shit. Didn't win fuck all, but that's irrelevant, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'd never heard of him. But this was a decent match. This actually. So they tie up. Fucking shoots Tony off. Who gives him a tackle. Boom. Simple. Sleep, leap, drop kick by fucking Christopher. Powders out. Fucking Tony Falk comes back in. Tie up again. And then Christopher goes on the arm. He cuts Christopher off briefly, and then Christopher switches the whip. And then Christopher goes for a hip toss. He blocks it. Christopher goes for another hip toss that he blocks, and then he does the old fucking, I always call it like the X-Pac spot, you know, where he kicks him in the stomach, puts his leg on his neck, and fucking flips back. Yeah. He does that. Then he does that. Then he hits the hip toss. Boom. It's a bit back and forth here. It wasn't like, it was quite a short match. Because after that fucking shine from Christopher, there wasn't a lot during the actual match itself. There was just like a bit of back and forth here and there. Falk hits a bulldog. I don't even think he went for a pin, you know. I don't recall him. He hit a bulldog anyway. And then fucking Christopher's all dazed in the corner. And then he goes for another bulldog out the corner. But Christopher pushes him off. He takes the buckle, comes back, and Christopher hits him with a super kick for the finish. 1, 2, 3, boom. Decent match there, to be fair. Quite short and
I'm pretty sure it's The Rock of all the I can't think which big name, but I'm pretty sure it's The Rock that really credits Tony Falk for helping him when The Rock was in Memphis in his early days learning.
All right, okay.
A lot do, you know. He wrestled for the Poffos early on, and it's fucking fabulous.
But that's the first time I've ever heard the name, to be honest. Never heard him before. So.
Oh, Two Folk for Sure. Guided our way for fucking years.
Yeah.
Still got the picture in my suitcase as well.
Yeah. Okay, now. So finally, 6-man tag. This is the main event. Doug Basham, Bart Sawyer, and TD Steele.
Yeah, he refereed there as well.
Right. Okay.
Black dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Against Tommy Rich, Doug Gilbert, and Dream Machine.
Rich, Doug Gilbert, Dream Machine. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah. um, I didn't really write down much for this because it was all fucking. You know, when you get a 6-man or an 8-man and it's all Guan and it's hard to fucking. I'd still be writing it down now if I kept pausing the fucker. So yeah, but Bart Sawyer and Dream Machine start. It ends up with basically Sawyer hitting him with a hip toss, and then the other two guys come in and take a hip toss as well, and they all fucking powder boom. So 3 hip tosses. Basham comes in and Steel comes in. They give Steel like heat, fucking not much because like I say, every fucker's in at some point. I think they all want fucking in, like, you know, like literally they just like tag me in because they're all fucking in and out. I turn away and I come back and there's a different guy in it. It's happening. So like, you know, I'm sure they were like, I didn't even know if there was fucking tags involved, to be fair, but it was all Guanin. The finish was pretty decent. It was quite like kind of a one-sided match in a way with the heels fucking, because it weren't really that long a match, but the double team for the finish was pretty sweet. One of the heels has got Steel up on his shoulder, you know, like the shoulder breaker, like back breaker thing on your shoulder, and then Tommy Rich comes off the top with like a fucking axe handle on him, and boom, and that was the finish. It was an okay match, to be fair, but like I say, it was all going in at once, and it was hard to fucking, you know, make out what was going on. But no, all in all, though, fucking loved it. I love them studio shows. They're fucking brilliant. I like a nice fucking intimate crowd like that, 40, 50, 60, whatever's in there. It's fucking, you know, it's enjoyable.
You remember Going Live, the fucking TV show, kids TV show?
Going Live?
Yeah. It was like Live and Kicking or fucking one of them Saturday morning kids studio TV shows.
Right.
USWA reminds me of that.
Right.
You know, like everything's in one area. I love regional wrestling anyway. I pop for, you know, someone else is coming back to the area, back to the fucking, you know, I love that. And yeah, it's a shop. It's a 90-minute advert, and that's fine by me. You know, I fucking love it. I do. Buzz it. Yeah, any of those USWAs, bang on. I mean, Memphis in general, but USWA is my favourite. I mean, I know Memphis had probably a bigger draw as Memphis Wrestling before USWA, but, you know, bigger name, that kind of thing. But
I get confused with the whole like history of the fuck. It's quite confusing fucking with the whole USWA and the fucking Memphis and everything. Like, so like the original USWA, like before that, you know what I mean? With like, that was like Texas, wasn't it? Like the original, like, you know.
Yeah, like when World Class, there was the you know, the kayfabe fucking storyline with Eric Embry and Skandar Akbar and his group. And it was like, if Akbar wins, he owns World Class. But if Eric Embry wins, we have a new era of wrestling, you know, we bring in the USWA. And Embry beat PY Choi in Dallas in the cage match, you know, and Eric Embry and Percy Pringle ripped the fucking World Class sign down, you know, basically saying that he had such a bad reputation because Akbar had got hold of the World Class name and, you know, they just wanted rid of it. But, you know, in reality, it was, you know, Fritz was struggling. So Jerry Jarrett sort of got shares in it. So they kind of incorporated the Memphis end, which was probably CWA at the time, Continental Wrestling Association.
Was Fritz still like because it was WCCW originally, World Class like originally, and then so when was it USWA when Fritz was still like in charge then?
Yeah, so after this story, and it became USWA like end of '89.
Right. Yeah.
I think it was end of '89. After that, so then Jerry Jarrett bought into Fritz's promotion, and they kind of incorporated the two together. So they incorporated World Class Championship Wrestling and Continental Wrestling Association, the Memphis promotion, to make USWA. So they ran, in essence, then 2 different offices. So they had a USWA show in Dallas and a USWA show in Memphis.
But it's like it's still the same company technically.
Yeah. They kind of had different crews and stuff. But, Lawler travelled a bit and Dundee and that kind of thing. And Steve Austin came to Memphis and, that kind of stuff. Embry came to Memphis. But on the whole, it was, a Dallas crew and a Memphis crew. But then when Fritz came out in I think it was September of '90, I wrote down earlier. Fritz opened then again. I think Fritz joined up with the Savaldis, who ran ICW,
right,
and became International World Class Championship Wrestling, which again didn't last long. And then Dallas, Joe Pedicino got into Dallas as Global Wrestling Federation. But to be fair, Fritz was pretty much finished. As soon as it turned into the USWA, Fritz was fucked, wasn't he? Yeah. He'd lost the world class, really, and that was their thing, wasn't it?
Because at one point, fucking world class was booming, weren't it? It was the fucking, during their fucking heyday, they were as big as anyone, like, fucking massive.
By '89, though, it was the death of the territory, wasn't it? Like, Memphis was the only fucking territory left, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Running as much as it did in the way that it did by '89. Dallas would have been on its way out, especially with the big names that Dallas lost. Fucking, the Von Erich tragedies.
Yeah.
It's, they lost their fucking draws, don't they? Kerry had gone to the WWF by that point as well. End of '89, '90. He was in WWF, wasn't he? So that's like another fucking big name gone.
Yeah.
They didn't have a great deal left. They had Kevin left, which was about it, wasn't it? Yeah. I don't know the USWA Dallas end was still pretty much just like a fucking pound shop world class. Just like a lesser version of world class. I've always preferred the Memphis stuff. But yeah, Boughton. Your territory next week. Where are you to?
Wow. You ready for this one?
I'll pack me bags.
Well, I've got that fucking that thing on my office room, like with all the territories in. I thought that'll fucking help me. But when I was at work today, I forgot about that poster. So I was like, like racking my brains to try and think of territories that we might not be, overly familiar with or whatever. And it wasn't until I got home earlier that I fucking looked on the thing and was like, yeah, I'll do them fuckers. So anyway, I looked on YouTube and there is some available as well. So it's not like fucking rare, but I'm going to go on with fucking big time wrestling from Detroit.
Fucking hell.
Huh?
That is somewhere I'm not familiar with.
I'm not either. Cause like there's some I'm familiar with, some I'm a little bit familiar with, but there's very few that I know fuck all about. And this is one of them. Like, so
that became, I think it was Detroit that became WWA, like Bruiser Bedlam, a TV show called Bruiser Bedlam.
Yeah, because I looked on the thing earlier and it's got, I'm sure it says WWA. Wasn't there a WWA one somewhere else as well?
Yeah.
Fucking, if you give me 2 seconds, it's got a WWA in Detroit.
I'm sure it was like big time wrestling, which was like the NWA. But then more recent time, I say recent, we're talking fucking mid '80s, aren't we? But
oh yeah, so we got big time wrestling in Detroit. Then there's like a big time wrestling in San Francisco. Hang on. Yeah, Maple Leaf Wrestling in Toronto. Oh, I don't know.
Detroit, it is.
Yeah, big time wrestling in
Chic, I think, was it not?
Is that what it was? I think you're right.
Eddie Forat.
Yeah, and I think his fucking from by all accounts, some of his fucking booking was not quite a little bit fucking odd at times. I think he was fucking quite famous for booking himself on top, weren't he? Quite a lot,
Yeah.
I heard. Like always always the fucking headliner from, you know.
People say that's fucking wrong, right? My thoughts on that is you're the only fucker guaranteed to be there and not walk out.
Yeah, yeah. See, I get that as well. Like, I totally understand that, but I mean, I I don't know. I mean, like, people have said that to. I think fucking Ollie fucking put it in his book as well, because he used to, when he was the booker, he'd book themselves as like champs, as tag champs and everything like that. And he's like, because he says, because I could trust us, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can trust us to do what we need to do. And I've always said as well, like, fucking, I, I've kind of changed my mind a little bit, but I would never like book myself on top, because I know that I got people there that I can rely on. Like, I don't even, it doesn't interest me. Like, but I can kind of see both sides of the argument. I mean, because if he's like fucking past his best and a bit, you know, a bit fucking stale and everything, and maybe it's been too long, then I can kind of see, well, you know, again, kind of, you know.
And the Sheik was a bit of an Andre or an Abdullah the Butcher type. That he was good for 6 weeks or whatever, doing the fucking territory circuit, but then you'd seen him. So
Yeah,
if that was his territory that he had to be in every week, it would get stale quick, wouldn't it? There's
yeah,
only so many times in, if you're running fucking the same venue every week or even every month, right? And you do 6 months, there's only so many times you can see Andre the Giant winning a battle royal.
yeah.
There's
That's the
so
thing.
many times you can see Abdullah sticking a fork in someone's head. It's fucking brilliant when you see it once a year.
Yeah, it's like the attractions there, isn't it? Like the
Yeah.
spectacle and
I'm
that.
not, I'm not
But yeah,
shitting on it anyway. It's fucking great to see, but you don't
uh,
want to see it every month, yeah.
no, no, that's that kind of a similar situation with the fucking whole pay-per-view system now, how there's like two a month or whatever the case is. Because back
Isn't
in,
it?
that's one of the reasons I prefer shit back in the day, because you needed to wait 4 months for a pay-per-view or 3 months or whatever. And you look forward to it because, like you were saying earlier, you didn't see Hogan on fucking
No.
Superstars. So you
Well, you
waited for
wanted
the
it before, don't you?
pay-per-views.
Absence makes the art grow fonder.
And that's it. That's fucking
Jim Cornette always says, doesn't he? How can I miss you if you won't go away?
yeah.
And if the same people are on TV every fucking week, then I'm going to get bored here.
Yeah, I totally agree. They use the
On
fucking
Superstars, that this week you'll have Hercules, Ted DiBiase, and the Bushwhackers, right? But next week you'll have the Rockers, fucking Dino Bravo, and fucking some other fucker. You know what I mean?
but you
You're not
might
going
do
to, Ted DiBiase might have one match a month on TV, but you'll have a promo of his to build up the match with Hogan that's going to be on Saturday night's main event.
yeah. So you might
Yeah.
have a fucking
Not that you won't see him at all, but you'll see him in a different capacity.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you might see like the fucking Brother Love show and have like an angle with like Jake Roberts and fucking Rick Martel, for instance, like
Yeah.
setting
So
up
they're not
there.
forgotten, but you're still eating eggs, but you're having fried eggs today and scrambled eggs tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're not having the same shit every time.
no, but then you just want, like, it makes you just want to see it more, don't you? Like, okay, you look forward to that fucking one match. Like, you're just looking
Yeah.
forward to this one match, and you've got to wait fucking, like, it was like the fucking Hogan and Savage. Like, they built it for a year. You know what I mean? Like,
Fabulous. I
that is
don't
like,
think there will never be anything like it.
nah,
It's
definitely
fucking
not.
brilliant.
It was perfect.
You know, we just watched the USWA thing. I don't think there was much better territory wise, other than the Vince McMahon types, but not a territory that could build a story as much as those Memphis boys did. Everything was going to that one fucking show a week, and they did
Yeah.
it for years.
And like I was saying, it made me fucking watching it. Like, I felt like I knew more about them, even though I hadn't really seen them before. It was
Proper
like,
storytellers.
eh?
For storytellers, and
Yeah.
then especially they wanted new people to watch, so it had to be fresh.
Yeah.
it's the same as going to a venue you've never been to without TV, and like on our level, when you go to a venue that you haven't been to before and the crowd doesn't know who you are, and you come through the off the stage or whatever, they don't know who the fuck you are. So you need to establish yourself right now, and some people don't seem to get that because they think they're fucking TV stars. You know, they come through the fucking door and they expect to be cheered or they expect to be booed based on the fact that they're just there because their fucking egos are so fucking inflated that they expect everybody to know them.
Well, that's it, yeah.
And USWA didn't do that. You know, they explained everything clearly, so the casual wrestling fan would go, "Oh fuck me, I got that. Let's have another look next week." You know, get them hooked. Sell tickets, earn more money, isn't it? That was the key. You know, because they weren't guaranteed any fucking thing, were they?
Yeah.
It was based on the door, weren't it? I guess. Yeah, Bosh. We'll go to Detroit next week. We're doing Hollywood Blondes Friday. See Dan.